What's up, y'all? Time for another Grade 1 dirt race here. Starting the year off right here down in South Florida. We've got the Pegasus World Cup coming up. Some decent horses running in this one. A nice field and a race that I gotta say is not necessarily that easy to handicap. I took a look around, took a look at what some of the quote unquote experts are picking. So we'll see what the experts are thinking. I got my own picks here, but let's go over the horses first. Number one, we've got Mixto. Mixto is a good magic horse. 10 to 1 in the morning odds. Ridden by Frankie Dettori in this one. He's never ridden him before. Hopping aboard in this one because it's a big day. Frankie Dettori's here for a different race. But Doug O'Neill has gotten Frankie Dettori. Doug O'Neill, the trainer on this one, gotten Frankie Dettori aboard. Last out, third in the Native Dancer. That was an all right time. He was only 1 length off of that one, 148. Same distance we're going today. Before that, 11 lengths off in the Breeders' Cup Classic. The Breeders' Cup Classic was it was a screamer. They really went fast, faster than I even thought, and I thought I was being a little bit ridiculous with the pace. They even went faster than I suspected they would. He was 19 lengths off in that. So if that tells you anything about a horse that gets lost in a fast pace, maybe Mixto's that horse, or maybe they'll just be ready for that this time. Before that, he did get a win in the Pacific Classic. I guess that's what you would say is his signature win, winning that Pacific Classic. Some people do like this horse. Probably going to be forward lead place. I don't think he's going to be the leader, though, because we got some faster horses in here. But I think he's going to be near that lead. Number two is one of those horses, Saudi Crown, 5-year-old out of Always Dreaming. 9 to 2 in the morning odds. I think that's probably going to go down based on what I've heard. Other people, Jerry Bailey included, Randy Moss liked this horse. He's a Brad Cox horse ridden by Florent Geroux. Brad Cox has won this race before. 2021 had Knicks Go. Florent Geroux won this race. 2018 aboard Gunrunner. So we've got some experience running in this race. Horse is in decent shape, coming off a 1 minute breezing. They ran that up here in Indiantown, up here in Florida. That is not necessarily the same climate. It's inland Florida, and it's been a little cold, so they're going to be moving down to Gulfstream. But he is nearby. Horse is training well. Here's the thing with this horse. I mean, he won the Saudi Cup year before last. That might have been his best race. Hasn't done much to impress me. He's running against some also ran kind of horses. You know, he got a win in this Ellis Park, R.A. Cowboy Jones. Okay. When he ran the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, he was 13th. 58 lengths off the leader. 58 lengths off the leader. That's not competitive, to say the least. And then he got a win here in this Tenacious Stakes. Another race that's not that big. So, you know, he's back in here with a very tough race. I mean, this Pegasus World Cup is one of the toughest races on the planet. It attracts top competition, and it's always going to attract top jockeys from all over the planet. Now, yeah, they squeeze in some horses that arguably may not belong, but I mean, they almost do that in every major stakes race in some way, shape, or form. I'm not sure that Saudi Crown has the talent to keep up with these horses. Like I said, a lot of other people think that he does, including the great Jerry Bailey, Randy Moss. We'll see what he's got. He's going to be very forwardly placed. I think that's going to work against him, and he's going to have to fight off a lot. So he's going to have to leave this pack behind. Don't know that this field is going to give him that sort of opportunity. Number 3, 20-1 in the morning odds with Newgrange. Now, I heard this horse may be scratched. Last I checked, he wasn't scratched, so keep an eye on that if he is scratched. Horse is a 6-year-old. Sired by Violence, which is a Medaglia d'Oro horse. His mother's father's Empire Maker. So you got some decent breeding with this horse. Emaciel Jaramillo riding him, so he knows this track. He's a decent jockey locally, does know the track well. Jose D'Angelo is the trainer. So, I mean, if you're looking for a long shot, you do have that long shot angle. Once again, though, I don't think this horse has the stamina to keep up with what is going to be a very hot pace. I expect this horse, Newgrange, and Saudi Crown to really go after the lead. He's probably going to get the lead. I don't think Laurent Giraud is really going to fight for it that much, even though the horse is going to want it. So I'm putting Newgrange on the lead. Probably going to be going 44-4. That's very fast for a 9-furlong race. I just think they're going to get carried away. The horses that like to run that fast, and there's 2 other horses that like to be up front that are going to be behind them. I think they're going to go fast, so I'm saying 44-4. This horse, Newgrange, last out 5th in San Diego Handicap, 10 lengths off the leader there. 6th in the Santa Anita Handicap. Got a win in the San Pascal, got a win in the San Antonio, so been running out west. Not winning the big races. I don't expect him to show up here, but you want to make that angle with, you want to play that angle with the local jockey, trainer, kind of got the breeding in there, and you're going to be well rewarded. 20-1, probably going to be higher than that. I could see making a play on him. I'm probably not going to include him in my pool, though. Number 4, White Abarrio. Not the favorite morning lines. They got him 3-1. Probably going to, I don't know. I can't say probably going to be the morning line, the race time favorite. He very well could be. He's a local favorite. This horse is 8-6, 1-0 at Gulfstream Park. 8 entries. He's won 6 of those and ran second 1 of those. The only time he ran out of the money at Gulfstream Park was the last time he ran in the Pegasus Stakes. Highly competitive race. He's older now, 6 years old. He was a 4-year-old when he ran last time. Got blasted. He's coming back now after improving that year, finishing out, winning the Breeders' Cup Classic. So he's now a championship horse coming back, trying to wrap it up with the win here at Gulfstream. He is out of Race Day, which is a Tappet horse, into Mischief on the other side of that family tree. So, I give him 3 stars for breeding. Explain the whole breeding system. That's all right, but I mean, this is a hotly contested race, like I said, and I think he's other horses that are kind of outmatch him in a lot of categories here. Jockey's Irad Ortiz Jr. He's not outmatched in that category. To me, there's no better jockey you want to bring to this race. He's got what you need there. He is being trained by Saffie Joseph again, though. He switched to Rick Dutrow, won the Breeders' Cup. Now he's back to Saffie Joseph. So, back to Saffie Joseph. White Abarrio, not going to be on that pace. So I think he is going to be positioned pretty well. Irad Ortiz Jr., smart enough to know how to rate a horse well. He is working out well. 48 breezing, a 47 breezing, a 35.3 furlong. Um, that's what you want to see. It's nothing great, but I don't know that he has the speed. Second place last out in the Mr. Prospector at Gulfstream. Before that, he had a win in a Gulfstream race at 7 furlongs. That Mr. Prospector was at 7 furlongs as well. So two 7 furlong races. He had a win, 10 length win there. So that looks good to come out and get that kind of a win. Um, Before that, big loss, 10 length loss in the Met Mile. We all know that Met Mile, they're flying. It's another one of those races, very hard to win. Very competitive race. Before that, 10th in the Saudi Cup, 15 lengths off in that one. So he's coming back home, trying to get this win. Last time he was beaten by Art Collector here. He is the big dog, kind of, is you could say, in this race. I'm not sure, though, that he's going to have the speed. Got the jockey there, going to be well placed, working out well. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. Number 5, Crupi. Crupi, 5-year-old horse, sired by Curlin, mother's father's Malibu Moon. I like the breeding on this one. Todd Pletcher horse, jockeys Luis Saez. They got him at 15-1 morning odds. I mean, that looks like easy money, right? I mean, so far, right of the rest of the horses. When I looked at the horse in the race and laying it out here, I was like, wow, this is Crupi's race to lose. I know that sounds crazy. Nobody else, I guarantee you, has said that this is Crupi's race to lose. But here's why I say this. He is probably going to be the furthest horse off of the pace in this one. Todd Pletcher, no joke. Luis Saez. Saez, yeah, he's not the best, but Saez is good. He's going to be riding off of this blistering pace that I see coming up here. So that puts him in the best position. I think he has the speed. People don't think he has the speed. When I look at him, I see the speed here. Not fifth in this Clark Handicap last out. Third in the Woodward, second in the Whitney. You really, when you look back in this horse's career, he has put the speed together that I've seen. Mile and 1/16th. It wasn't a 142, I believe. Let's see if I have it here. No. Anyway, I think Cruppy's got the speed. If you're looking for some money on an angle, I think he's definitely the way to go. Not sure if you want to play him up front. Like I said, it's his race to lose, I think, because of the pace. Not only do I think that when you run these blistering paces at this long, and not only do I think the top horses are going to fall off, a lot of the horses that are too close to this pace can get burned by it as well. And that, in my opinion, would set up for a Cruppy victory. However, it's going to be long for a reason. Probably going to get more than 15-1 on that. Might want to throw him into some exotics, though. Trained by Pletcher as well. Got to remember that Pletcher does not have a win in this race. Going to be looking for his first. Number 6. Now, see, number 6 is one of these horses that I have liked. I liked him in the Derby. Stronghold, 4-year-old Antonio Fresu is the jockey. Now, here's the problem. Guys like Fresu, they're young, up and coming. They're good on certain tracks. When they travel, not necessarily so much, especially when they're running against jockeys this accomplished. 10-1 in the morning odds. Philip D'Amato's the trainer of this horse. Last out, he ran in the Malibu Stakes, ran second there, ran second in the Pennsylvania Derby before that, second in the Indiana Derby before that. He was 7th in the Kentucky Derby. Not a bad race for the Kentucky Derby, which is like the hardest race to win on the planet. And then a win in the Santa Anita Derby before that, taking out Muth. He had a win in the Sunland Derby too. As a matter of fact, outside of the Kentucky Derby, this horse has never run out of the top two. Okay, so that's something you definitely got to consider when you're looking at Stronghold. Very good resume. When you look at the breeding, he's out of Ghost Sapper. I mean, that's all you got to say right there. Ghost Sapper, arguably one of the best horses of all time. That's so hard to have that conversation when you're talking horses. But I think he definitely makes the conversation when you're talking about these best horses of all time. So Stronghold's got the breeding. I saw him when he ran after the Derby. I was like, that kind of horse, he's just not ready yet. He's still 3 years old. A lot of horses takes till they're four to really get their optimal speed. Is Stronghold there yet? We'll see. Is it possible he can make the move? He could. And at 10-1, those are some pretty good odds. Probably going to throw him into a little something there. I don't know if I like him to get home, though. Don't know if I like him to get home. He's going to be competitive, though. Horse like that runs in the top two. You got to say that's definitely going to be. He's got to be considered in this one for sure. Number 7, Steel Sunshine. Now they got him as a 31 morning odd because of the big money is going to be on their face. Probably going to be much higher. Horse is out of Constitution, a tappet horse. Unbridled Song on the other side of the tree. 3-star breeding I've got for that one, so, it's all right. Tough competition, as we know for this race, though. A jockey is Dylan Davis. He's got a 20% win percentage coming in for Gulfstream to this race. That's what you want to see. He's not like your all-time Hall of Fame kind of Irad Ortiz, Johnny Velasquez type of jockey, though. You got to remember that. His horse has run in 7 different graded stakes races over his career, so he is he does have a lot of experience, you should say. 3rd in the Holland's Holiday last out, win in an optional claimer here at Gulfstream, 5th in the Stephen Foster, before that at Churchill. So not too much but to like about the horse, but he is in there with the horse, a race that I said is going to be a blistering speed, and he's not going to be on the lead. So when the pace breaks down, I expect him to be a contender. And if you do decide to go with him, you'll be rewarded if he does hit the board for you, because he's going to be big money. Number 8, speaking of big money, horse Vitality here. Horse is out of Street Boss. On the other side of the tree, you got Awesome again. Another 3-star. I give another 3 stars for his breeding. 50-1 in the morning odds. I heard a guy yesterday saying he should be 500-1. I don't see why the horse is that bad. Rajiv Mara's riding him. We all know Rajiv Mara is, it's got to be about 60, 70 years old by now. He's aggressive, though. He does get the horse out there. Doesn't always necessarily time it right, but Mara's going to give the horse a chance. Vitality's coming off with some pretty good workouts, especially consider the rest of the ones on the page. All at Gulfstream Park, a 1-minute breezing, a 1-minute breezing, a 48 breezing. Last out 6 in the Harlan's Holiday, that was ridden by Joe Bravo, though. And before that, he ran an optional claimer here at Churchill Downs. Mile and 1/16th, 142, second by half. If that was a win, he wouldn't be 50-1. Second by half a length. Christian Torres riding him there. Before that, running in Keeneland with Irad Ortiz Jr. riding him. Now, that's what he did in America. Before that, he had a great career going in Canada. Won this Prince of Wales, which is his biggest win. 9.5 furlongs in 155. Now, he didn't bring his Canadian jockey with him. He's been changing jockeys every race. You would like to see a better jockey on him than Rajiv Mar. I guess you would want to say going into this one if you want to give him a chance. But I don't think this horse is that bad and should be thrown out of the competition. Just because a lot of other people don't like him and they just don't see it. Horse wise, I think all things being equal, I think he is in the top two competitiveness wise. Like I said, all things being equal, which that's all things are never equal in an actual horse race. But I wouldn't count Vitality out, especially for big money. And you're playing him in a super or a try. He could help you out. He could come in there. And like I said, going to be a blistering pace in this one. He's not going to be on it. So once the pace breaks down, it's quite a chance that Vitality could be in there. Number 9, last year's Kentucky Derby winner, Mystik Dan. Mystik Dan, hey, I got to give the horse credit. After winning the Derby, he did come back and run in the Preakness in Belmont, even though he wasn't successful. 2nd in the Preakness, 8th in the Belmont. I mean, the horse was pretty much tired, you could tell. Mystik Dan was not like a world beater. He was 3rd in the Arkansas Derby before winning the Kentucky Derby. He did have a win in the Southwest Stakes. But then kind of ran those tough 5 races, took a long break, came back in this Malibu, 6th place, 11th off the leader. Now, after a layoff, most horses are not going to run that first race very well. They just aren't. See, a lot of times you just want to throw that out, and there's I wouldn't fault you for throwing it out. I don't necessarily count those races as strongly as I do the second after a layoff, which this race is. When you're looking at his workouts coming into this one, 59 breezing, those are the fastest works on the page. Mystik Dan could be ready to fire. His sire's Golden Sense, another Into Mischief horse. We're still seeing how strong that Into Mischief line is, but Mystik Dan was another Derby winner out of that Into Mischief line. Brian Hernandez riding, Kenny McPeak training him. I would like to see somebody other than Brian Hernandez on him, but it's his horse. He's won on him before. He's been on him his whole career. We'll see what Brian Hernandez can bring to this. He was not going to be on that blistering pace. So, if he gets a good trip, like he did in the Kentucky Derby, now granted, Brian Hernandez knows Churchill Downs much more than he knows Gulfstream. If he gets a good trip, Mystik Dan, I think, could get a win here. I think it's safe to say he could get a win. That Malibu, not necessarily a throwaway, but it's coming off a big layoff. You don't want to take those races, the performance of the race too much into account. Because the horse is just rusty. Gotta shake off the horse, just like any athlete coming off of a layoff. Most of the time they're going to be rusty. I'm reminded of the game when Jordan came back after his baseball stint, and I think he shot like 40-something shots. He only made like I don't know, small amount. Don't quote me on it, but he was firing shots up all over the place. He made like 20-something of them. But yeah, not to compare Mystik Dan too much to Michael Jordan, but Mystik Dan coming back. Can he get the win here? Yes, I think it is possible. 8-1 in the morning odds. I guess that price is fair. We'll see where it goes off. Next, Skippy Longstock. He's been around now for a while, 6 years old. Out of Exaggerator, which is a curling horse. 10-1 in the morning odds. I think that's a bit generous. Horse is kind of old, hasn't done anything that great in a while. 6th in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile last out. He's going to have Tyler Gaffalione ride him here. Saffie Joseph is training him. Before that Breeders' Cup, he was 2nd in the Woodward. Had a win in the Charlestown Classic. Now, Charlestown Classic, yeah, he got a win, but that Charlestown Classic is not a very competitive race. Before that, 5th in the Whitney. ran the Stephen Foster. Is that 7th? I want to say that's 7th, but I have or is third rather in the Stephen Foster. Pardon me. So Skippy Longstocking, yeah, okay. If you want to throw him into an exotic, okay, all right. I could see doing that. Is he going to get the win? I don't think so. He's going to be one of those horses that I have near the lead, not on it, but I think the pace is going to be too hot. He's going to burn out with the front runners. Number 11, Locked. This is the interesting horse. They got him in the morning line odds, 5-2 favorite. That is a weak favorite, 5-2. Will he be 5-2 going off? I don't know. I don't know what the public is. The public really going to be on him, bring him down to an 8-5ish? Possibly. Johnny Velasquez, Todd Pletcher. That's what you gotta like. Todd Pletcher, I said Todd Pletcher's never won this race before. Johnny Velasquez never won this race before. Todd Pletcher won with Life is Good and Irad Ortiz Jr. back in 2022. This horse Locked here was sired by another horse that won this race as well, Gunrunner, back in 2018. His breeding is excellent, with Gunrunner being his sire. Malibu Moon on the other side of that ties him into your AP Indy line. You got Todd Pletcher, Hall of Fame trainer. A lot of people will say he's the best right now. Johnny Velasquez, the jockey, a lot of people say he's the best right now. A lot to like about this horse. Last out, a win in the Cigar Mile, 134. In that mile. Before that, he had a win in an optional claimer, 7 furlong going 121. Before that, ran in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Third place there. That was after he was off for 11 months. 11 months off. I'm not necessarily sure. Some of you probably know what exactly his story was. I'm not sure whether there's injury or whether he just wasn't running well, but at any rate, back now after an 11-month layoff, he was looking good early on in his career. Ran third behind Fierceness and Muth in that Breeders' Cup Juvenile, but then took that long time off. Coming back with a couple of wins. So horses like this, Life is Good was one of these horses. Life is Good was looking really good and then came up with an injury. Wasn't able to compete for the Derby. And when it was time for Life is Good to come back and make that move, came through with a strong win in the Pegasus. Could that happen again? I think it's possible. Similar situation, a top quality horse. But we know there's a lot of these horses that things happen on the Derby trail, and they've got to go to the bench for a while. Locked is coming back now. He's got everything you need, except some people want to say the post position. I argue over and over and over again that it doesn't necessarily matter, and yes, the post position does matter. It matters to the jockey. To me, it should matter as much to you, because if you're a good jockey can overcome a bad post position, and a bad jockey can ruin a good post position. So if you're picking a good jockey, you're hoping that this good jockey that you're picking, his skill, his knowledge, his experience, is going to overcome those things. Which is why if you like Johnny Velasquez, you're going to think that Johnny's going to be like, all right, I'm in the 11. I can handle it. I know how to do that. I've run out of the 11 before at this track, and I think I can get the win. It is a very short track to the first turn, the way it's set up here at Gulfstream. When you run a mile and an eighth, it's kind of, I don't know, Gulfstream's kind of weird setup. Anyway, the way from where you launch and where you got to turn and everything. But every track is different. That's horse racing. And knowing those tracks is part of the race. That's what you're picking Johnny V for. That's what you're picking Todd Pletcher for. If you like this race, if you like this horse, coming off of 2 wins, you might not want that. The three-peat is tough to do. It's very tough to do. Very tough to win 3 in a row. So that's one thing to not like. Another thing to not like is the money. Being that he's the favorite, it's not really a lot. It's not really going to pay well at all, too much, unless you're really going to focus locked in on this horse and just kind of play him alone. Maybe throw him into exactas with some others is a key. Number 12 is Power Squeeze, a filly running in this race. I don't necessarily like the idea of this horse being in this race. However, the pace will make the horse competitive. There's a 5-pound difference. Yeah, maybe I guess that means a little something. 30 to 1 in the morning odds for a reason, though. Got Javier Castellano riding the horse. Javier Castellano does have a win in this race. City of Light back in 2019. Jorge Delgado's the trainer. This horse is out of Union Rags. Mother's father's awesome again. 3 stars I give him the breeding, so that's enough to theoretically get it done. But like I said, the horse is a filly. Second in the Rampart last out. Before that, got 7th place. Before that was a win in the Alabama Stakes at Saratoga. I guess that's what you would say is the signature win. Alabama Stakes. Phillies only. It's a mile and a quarter. It's a 2:04. It's not going to be fast enough, in my opinion, for this. Going back before that was a win in the Delaware Oaks. I think this horse is probably going to be outmatched. However, like I said, because of the pace and the big odds, you may be interested in throwing this horse into an exotic bet. Because a pace this fast is very liable, in my opinion, to fall apart. How fast? Like I said, I think it's going to be, we're looking at a 44-4. I think we're going to be looking at Mixto is going to be off, right off of that pace with Skippy Longstocking, and we're going to have Saudi Crown and Newgrange up there. Newgrange, I think, will be the leader, going too fast, tracked by everybody else out there except Crupi. Now, the winner, in my opinion, is going to be which one of these other horses keeps his horse far enough off of that quick pace without falling too far behind it. Got to stay in that Goldilocks zone. I'm going with Johnny V. If you didn't know by now, I'm taking Johnny V, Todd Pletcher in the win. Second place, I'm going with Pletcher, with the Pletcher double. At least is my primary pick here with Crupi. I think Crupi gets it together because of the pace. Runs in second place. Third place, I've got the 4 White Abarrio. Competitive, likes the track. Not going to make it in the top 2, I think, this time. I got White Abarrio third. And Saudi Crown. I got Saudi Crown hanging in. Florent Geroux will try to plan it right, I guess you would say. Brad Cox, got a win in this race with Knicks Go. Florent Geroux was riding Gunrunner. So I think they're going to have a decent strategy. I just don't think it's going to work for them. I don't think Saudi Crown has the talent to be able to handle the kind of pace they're going to be running at. So I've got Saudi Crown running 4th. Now, long shots. You can make a case, in my opinion, to play long as a winner, depending on your bankroll size. Now, you got to balance these things out. Am I going to play one of these horses as a winner? Solo? Absolutely not. May I throw them in as a winner if the odds get good enough? Possibly. Vitality. Yes, Vitality. Pace gets crazy, could win the race. The 6 as well. Stronghold. I like Stronghold. I like Ghost Zapper. I love Ghost Zapper. Is this the race that he comes to life? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I backed up off of Art Collector. Art Collector was my horse. I backed up off of him when he won this race. So this could be his time to just break open. Mystic Guide was another one of those horses I was on for a while. Sometimes it just takes time for these horses to develop in their 4-year-old year till they get that big win. Could that be this one for Stronghold? Quite possibly. And also, you can make a case for Mixto. Got Frankie Dettori riding him. The odds get big enough. Maybe I'll throw him in there. They probably won't because of Frankie Dettori. I mean, he's a turf guy, but a lot of people like him. So, and he is experienced. He's been riding forever. So a lot of people like him. So I think that's going to keep the odds from getting that high. So I don't know if you really want to throw him in there as a long shot or not. Because I really don't think Mixto is going to be able to get the win. He could get the win, but I think it's going to require a little bit more luck than he's going to have in this one. So there you have it. Please let me know what you think in the comments section. I am going with locked number 1. 11-5-4-2 long shots. I'm looking to 8 and 6 primarily. Possibly the one thrown in there into the exotics, but I'm going with locked up top. And Crupi running second for that Pletcher double. As I said, please let me know what you think in the comments section, and please like and subscribe. See you guys after the race.